Kennedy Jr.'s announcement for running for president. And if anything would split anything, it would definitely be, to me, would be his campaign, his run for president, because there's a lot of people that agree with him on a lot of things, including vaccine mandates and his views on vaccine and his worldview. A lot of people agree with that. A lot of Christians agree with that as well. So a lot of conservatives agree with it as well. And so he's not running as a third party. Before I mentioned a third party run, I mean, there still could be someone that would run a third party. That was my speculation. He's running as a Democrat. So he could very well cause a splitting. When Trump said that will split the party, I thought he was talking about the Republicans. I still believe that could very well happen. It could cause people to even go and register to become Democrats to vote in RFK Jr. So I'm seeing an element. I think it could also split the Democrat Party up too. But I'm seeing an element of that dream come to pass with RFK Jr. Like I said, I'm not predicting anything. I'm just giving you my dream. So that was that dream. And another dream that I had more recent, and it's been probably about 4 months now, 6 months now. I had a dream that I was in an auditorium and there was this campaigning atmosphere going on, and it seemed like it was in a college auditorium, schools, it seemed like it. And Michelle and Barack Obama were there. And it felt like that Michelle was actually the speaker. Obama was there, and he spoke as well. But she seemed to have, there was a lot of energy involved with her and what she was saying, and a lot of enthusiasm. And I'm watching it like a mouse in the corner. And they literally had a campaign RV or bus that they were traveling in. So I don't know if they were actually traveling in the bus or in the RV, but they had one at least there at their apparent rallies, or whatever they were. They had that there for them to go in and get refreshed or whatever. I mean, maybe they were traveling the bus, maybe they're not, I don't know. But I seen her go into one of the RVs. I happened to be standing there, and as she was going through the door, I saw inside. And when I looked inside, I saw this sort of occultic looking symbol, and I immediately went, whoa, that's weird. And then I thought, was I supposed to see that, And I can't even tell you what it was. I just had this feeling like, oh, that's kind of occultic looking. And then the next scene, the bus, the RV that is associated with the Obamas, and this sort of tour it looked like they were on, going to these assemblies, was pulled over on a very wide freeway. It seemed like it could have been like a 4-lane freeway on one side, and of course the 4-lane freeway on the other side. But it looked to me like out west, how out west looks, in contrast to the east, what it looks like in the east when it comes to roads. So there was some things. I've been in California and I know what it looks like out there. So I'm not sure exactly where it was, but I was just like, okay. And it was pulled over, and there was another car that seemed to sideswipe that it was pulled over too, and there was no casualties or no one was hurt, but there was some people standing around the car that had like sideswiped and caused the Obama bus to be pulled over. And it was kind of way up there, maybe 100 yards, just parked, and nobody was around it. It was kind of sidelined off the freeway after this occurrence. And I look inside and of the car, and the roof is sheared off, and I can see in, and there's just a lot of chatter, a lot of talking, and it was sort of animated. And the guy that was driving the car was, and I don't know his name, but he's an actor, and he plays music, but he was that kid in The Burbs, the next door neighbor, and I just can't think of his name. But anyway, he has the history with whistleblowing in regard to pedophilia in Hollywood. So, and his friend died from suicide because his young friend, actor, child actor, grew up and was apparently so troubled by abuse that had occurred with him that he committed suicide. And so y'all should know who I'm talking about, and I can't think of his name. Anyway, he was sitting in the driver seat, and he was very animated, and he's talking, and it felt like he was also talking about that too, just the atmosphere around him. And there was some people around him that there was just a lot of noise and talk going on. And there was Michael Douglas standing there, kind of peering in, looking in on it. I don't know why Michael Douglas was observing like I was the whole thing, but there he was, standing right there. And so there we go. That was the dream in regard to the Obamas. And I would not be surprised if they may start out with campaigning for the Democrats or whatever, but I wouldn't be surprised if Michelle, I can't imagine Obama running again, but I wouldn't be surprised if Michelle didn't end up throwing her hat in the ring. Now, I'm not prophesying that. I'm just telling you what the dream is. And so that's the dream. I also have a couple of other dreams that have not yet come to pass. They have to do with currency and paper money and currency. I had the paper money dream, I think, it was before my husband passed away in 2019. I know that. So that dream had to do with walking into like a flea market and seeing just piles of abandoned wallets, like people didn't need wallets anymore. And what was inside of the wallets were like store cards, that you use to identify yourself so that you can get a discount. Those cards were done away with. Apparently we don't need them anymore in this dream. There was paper money left, like discarded with the wallets, like paper money doesn't matter anymore. One of the wallets I picked up had a Chinese yuan, Y-U-A-N, if I'm not saying it right. It was 100 yuan, and I've never seen a 100 yuan banknote up close before, but in the dream it was pinkish and red, and it had Mao on his portrait on the banknote. And when I went and researched it, it in fact does have. He is in fact on the 100 Chinese yuan. So, and it was exactly like I saw it in the dream. So that sort of gave me a sign that I needed to pay attention. And so I took that yuan out, and I was like, I wonder how much. I wonder what I could get for this, or looking at it like, should I save it? Not what I should get for it, but should I save it, you know? And then I looked at it and I said, well, it's just not worth it's not worth the paper it's printed on. And I threw it back down with the wallet. And I opened up another wallet, and it had $100 bill in it, a Benjamin. And I was like, oh, wow, look, a Benjamin, $100 Benjamin. And then I thought, well, I wonder what I can get in exchange. So it had some value to it. It had maybe some kind of exchange value, some kind of novelty value that people were maybe collecting them. But whatever it was, it did have enough value, prospective value, to hang on to. And, that could say a lot. A dream like that can say a lot. If you wanted to, like, cryptically, if you wanted to sort of unpack that, what it's going to look like when that happens, if this is a dream from the Lord. I'm not prophesying, but it sure seems like we're going to lose our paper money in short order here. So it felt like in the dream, like life was still kind of going on as usual. It was a thing that had occurred, and we were in it was like an old mall. It was like we were in this old mall, and life was going on as usual, but the paper money thing had changed. The currency thing had changed. And another thing that was different about the dream was that sort of over and above the mall that we were in, that was kind of like turned into a big flea marketplace, was a Chinese communist soldier. And he didn't have jurisdiction over the mall, but outside of it. And so I think of it being outside of the American market, or it could be that the mall represented America, and his presence was out there, like in the seas, in the ocean, in our international waters, encroaching upon our space. And I've had other dreams like that, with like a mall, and I'm walking down the northwest end of the mall, and I'm on the west end, and I open up the doors to go out into the parking lot, or to look out in the parking lot, and I see Russia and China just tearing up the parking lot. So that could be just tearing it up in the international waters. I don't know. That could represent that. I'm not completely sure. But anyway, those were the dreams that I had. I wanted to share with you. And if you have any thoughts or comments, I might just do this again, just telling the dreams and by themselves as well. But I hope you get a lot out of what I did share. And, contact me if you desire to. And until we meet again, God bless.